Deception, exclusively brought to you by Parfumé. It is essentially essential, exclusive. It's so exclusive, you'll never find it. Deception by Parfumé.
I'm ready. Are we rolling? Did you know Jake's trending right now anyway? So Jake totally liked my picture yesterday. We're gonna trend together. He's okay. I just feel like sometimes he pays attention to other girls, you know what I mean? And it really offends me. Like, I just don't understand why he would do that. What is she even wearing? I don't even know. Ah! Oh. I think it's really exciting because when you get to that point where you're like super excited about somebody and then you're both trending together, it's, you know, that's what it is. That's totally what it is, you know. Could you just give me a tissue really quick, please? I don't know what to do. Don't like me. Bye.
Hello and good evening. Welcome back to It News Now. This is your host, Dan Patrick, and I can't wait for you to join me tonight. In recent news, studies have begun to show that your self-worth is determined by the amount of likes you receive. Companies are also requiring that you put these statistics on your resume. My analytics are through the roof. I think everybody should have a lot of likes. How do you think I got this job? Latest in beauty trends. It is no longer okay to just have 2 eyes. It is preferable, in most cases, to have at least 3 or 4. If you're lucky, you'll have 5. Recent reports have shown that the average person, most likely me, takes about 1 million selfies every year. Hold on a second. Likes. Fame.
No, me.
Fame.
I see some wrinkles there.
Like.
Just search it.
Likes.
I need to change.
Fame.
I need some protein.
Likes.
Wake up!
I am so excited to present to you guys my 2019 NYX FACEAwards Top 30 Challenge. The challenge was #NowTrending. The inspiration for my creature was actually stemming from the duality I believe there is in trends. On the one end, trends can inspire you to be more creative. And on the other end, trends can actually affect the way we feel about ourselves, what we choose to do with our bodies, and how we choose to treat each other. This brain is one of my favorite features of this look. It is an SFX, and I love the way it turned out. I feel like this kind of represents this collective consciousness that computers can all connect us, but at the same time it's kind of cold and it doesn't have an emotion to it, unlike humans. Another fun part was these little electrons I created. It just kind of represents these like wires and connections and like neurons from the brain, very Frankenstein / like Matrix. The eye was a representation of my own reflection. Again, this is a personal look, and it took me to a place where I was really looking at myself in the mirror and asking myself, what is worth it? How far am I willing to go for this trend? Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this look and my video. Now let's get to the tutorial because there's a lot to cover. Step 1 is taking your jumbo eye pencil in milk and doing an outline sketch of the eye. Next, you're going to fill in the eye and then set it with SFX Set Loose Setting Powder. To create some lines with Epic Ink Liner is probably the best way to get a good basis of where you're going to start shading. So go ahead and outline all those details. Combining the Prime and Conceal brush with the Swear By It palette, we're going to take the dark black eyeshadow in number 40 and start shading this eye to give it some dimension. Using the Pro Angled Eyeliner brush, we're going to dip it in that black shadow and kind of give the eye a little bit of a stressed out effect. Next, using my favorite brush, the Pro Spot Concealer, I'm actually using a water-activated green paint and I'm going to lay it down in the center of the eye. Next step, we're going to take that same Pro eyeliner brush and create a little bit of a sketch. I kind of did what I thought would be my reflection and went with it. I winged it, but it was really fun. And basically, I just kind of created what I would look like if I was really stressed out. Next step is taking a white water-activated paint and painting on some teeth. Now we're going to create the illusion of a reflection in the eye. This is kind of a fun step and creates a lot of dimension. Picking a focal point of where the light will be predominantly shining against the eye. Next, I'm taking the colored liquid liner in Vivid Petal and I'm going to start shading in the fleshy parts of the eye. Now I'm going in with the precision brush to get a lot more definition using the black eyeshadow. Now it's time to move to the face. I do start by putting on a bald cap. Because I am not a professional at putting these on, I am going to refer to the experts out there, plenty of YouTube tutorials for you guys to check out. Concealing my brows and setting it all with powder is laying down the base for my paint. Now let's begin. Taking some liquid latex and a Q-tip, I'm starting to create the perimeter for my brain, the illusion that the brain is actually exposed on the top of my head. Next, we're going to be taking some cotton and then we're going to shred it apart and then layer it with some liquid latex. This gives a little bit of a raised effect to the scalp. It took me about 3 to 4 layers for this effect. In between, drying it with the blow dry helps speed up the process. Taking a water-activated paint in a green, we're going to start painting that in the top of the head. Using the Epic ink liner, I started tracing out the shape and structure of the brain. Dipping my Pro Spot Concealer brush in the Modern Dreamer palette, I'm taking a dark green and starting to shade in to create some dimension of the brain. To create some definition for my illusion eyes, I used the Epic ink eyeliner. Because I wanted more than 2 eyes, I drew 2 more on each side. Using the Pro Flat Foundation brush, I take a water-activated paint in a gray and start filling in my face. Using the dual silicone applicator, I start to apply the Can't Stop, Won't Stop Contour Concealer in Pale as a primer base for my eyeshadow. Using the dual fiber detail brush, I pick up my Modern Dreamers palette and in a light green, I start to shade in the eyes. Taking a darker green, just on the outside, I use my precision brush and just give it a little bit more definition. Carving it out with the Epic ink liner. Using a Pro Contour brush and a gray from my Modern Dreamers palette, I'm starting to give myself a little contour. Taking that same color with a precision brush, I'm going to give my lips a little bit more definition and fullness. Taking a cotton swab and applying some liquid latex. This is to apply my what looks to be like little lasers, 3-dimensional pieces that I created out of cotton, rolling it in liquid latex, and then painting it with some green body water activated paint. I liked it. I ended up taking off half of them because sometimes you got to take 2 steps backwards to move forwards, but in the end, the effect was really cool. Now I'm taking the Can't Stop, Won't Stop Contour Concealer in Pale and priming my eyelids for the shadow. Because I'm doing detail work on my eyelids, I like to leave my eyes last because they're kind of oily, and that just kind of keeps them fresh for photos. Using my Pro Fiber detail brush, I take the Modern Dreamers palette and in multiple greens start giving the eyes some dimension. Carving it out with the Epic ink liner. Using the Pro Angled Eyeliner brush, I took a water-activated paint in green and created the illusion that my eyes are open by taking a little bit of that green and creating like a laser effect on the eye. It kind of makes them really glowy. It was fun. Using the same brush and paint, I extended those little lasers outwards towards the center of my face. To create the illusion that these lasers are coming up off my face, I take my Swear By It palette and my precision brush and I begin to shade underneath them, starting at the basis and then kind of pulling it out so it kind of looks like there's a little bit of distance between the shadow and the laser. This creates a great three-dimensional effect. Focusing the Epic ink liner at the very base gives this dark to light dimension, which really helps it pop. Now taking my Pro Flat foundation brush and that gray water activated paint, we're gonna start filling in the body. Taking the dual fiber shading brush, I start to create the crease of the eye on the chest using the Swear By It palette in a black tone. Again, and as always, carving it out with that Epic ink liner. Finishing that detail with some wonderful lashes, you're just gonna start at the outside and then work your way to the inside of the eye. I have a really fun time doing this. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most fun things you could practice using a liquid liner. So I recommend you have a good day at it. Basically, I just kind of press and then release as I get to the outside of the lash. Taking the gray water activated paint, I defined my wrist pretty clear. I need that negative space, which is where I'm going to be putting the green, what looks to be kind of like a bar of green light coming through my wrist. Then completely painting my hands gray for the most part, with the exception of my knuckles. Using a water-activated paint in green and my Pro Spot concealer brush, I laid down the color just right in the center of the wrist. This kind of is going to be the illusion, or then I will define it with the black on the outside so it'll look very three-dimensional and will pop. Shading the outsides with the black kind of gives this awesome dimensional effect, so I always recommend taking the extra time just to create that dimension. Pulls off the illusion beautifully. Starting in the center of that green, I'm taking my Pro Angled Eyeliner brush and pulling that color right past that line up to the wrist, just looking like lasers are popping out from that spot. It's gonna look really cool when you're done shading it. Now I'm taking the Swear By It palette with the dark black and I'm shading in that laser, kind of creating that dimension by starting at the top of the laser where it stems from and then pulling it out, again keeping a space between the laser and the shading to give that dimension. Topping my look off with Glitter Goals liquid lipstick in Alienated. Hashtag NowTrending is a trend monster. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you guys. Pulling this look together with my video, it was so much fun to do. All right, you guys, if you love my work, as always, please follow me at LisaMarie_Murphy, and I'll see you soon.